Tonight's game is brought to you by Light Beer. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less.
Forward, number 12, Chris Berman.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Carvelis, together with Ray Klebeck. And tonight, we have the privilege of bringing you a MISL playoff game featuring the defending MISL champion New York Arrows playing at home here against the Pittsburgh Spirit, a club that the Arrows beat in Pittsburgh last week to take a 1-0 lead in this best-of-2 series. Now, Ray, everything would point to a New York convincing victory here tonight.
Maybe so, because they're home, they won the first game, but I think it's going to be a little more difficult than that. I spoke to the coaches of the Pittsburgh team, and they said that they're going to make a few adjustments. They're going to reorganize a little bit. They've learned from their mistakes, and the team is motivated and ready to go. And I'm looking for Pittsburgh to come out in a very strong fashion and maybe even try to get on the boards first.
Well, if they do, it'll be a monumental task. All the Arrows have really done is win their last 20 games here in the Nassau Coliseum. That's not a bad go. All right, we're going to go right now to our national anthem. We'll be back in a moment. The phone's dead, Gary. Gary, do you want me to cue the commercial? All right, in Long Island, the Nassau Veterans Coliseum. Jim Carvelis and Ray Klebeck. Steve Jungle scored 90 goals during the regular season. He had a 3-goal hat trick, his 19th of the season in the first game of the playoffs in Pittsburgh last Sunday. And it's just an incredible score, Ray. What else can you say?
There's not much more, and I think that I've seen him play many, many times now, last year as well as this year, and each game he shows a little bit something else. He shows a different dimension of what he can do. So I always love to watch him play. I love to get him into the attacking third because his quickness and his level of skill is just something to behold. And I think if you're going to pay the price of admission, then I think it's worth just to see Steve Zungul score goals because he does it better than anyone around. And I think he might have set a record that's going to be almost unsurpassed in the future years. I hate to say this because records are made to be broken, but he definitely is the Babe Ruth and of the MISL, that's for sure.
Well, last March the 9th, in fact, the New York Arrows lost their last home game here, and ironically it was to Pittsburgh, 7-6 in overtime. That's the last time they've lost a game in the Nassau Veterans Coliseum, and Shep Messing doesn't look too nervous about tonight's game. Of course, you and I both know that Shep is a great money player. He's always really played well in big matches. Maybe that's why he's not nervous. Pittsburgh this year set the league record for 13 straight wins during the year. Right now, New York has 12 straight, so they could tie that record if they beat Pittsburgh here tonight. And the winner of tonight's action will play the winner of Houston and Wichita this Sunday evening in the home of the Atlantic Division winner, which would be either Pittsburgh or New York. All right, game underway now. Ray, let's talk a little bit about this Pittsburgh club.
Okay, we got Charles now with the ball. Pittsburgh is going to come out and let Buttle control the game. If Buttle controls their offense, then I think Pittsburgh is in good shape. If Buttle is not in the game, then look for Pittsburgh to be in a great deal of difficulty. And early on, Buttle is up on top. Cheela's matched up with him, and see, he's coming back to get the ball. He wants the ball, and I think that's a good thing for Pittsburgh.
All right, Pittsburgh on the attack, and the gold jerseys trimmed in black. Typical Pittsburgh colors. The city of champions, Pittsburgh. Actually, when you think about it, in the last 14 months, they've had 3 world champions, the Steelers twice and the Pirates, and the Arrows trying to break that streak here tonight. Clyde Charles, a good defender, back to Manis. Manis with a lot of pressure on him. He's a number 2 goalkeeper, and here he's been slotted into the most important match of the year for him. And Ray's going to be talking to him. Well, he talked to him before the game. We're going to see that interview at halftime.
Pete's confident, though. He knows it's a very, very important game, and it's a critical game for him in terms of his career. He knows he's got the shot, and he wants to do well, and I think he's confident. I think this is his opportunity. So let's look for Pete early on when he might be nervous. After the first 4 or 5 minutes, I think he'll be in a game, and he'll do Pittsburgh proud.
All right, foul against Pittsburgh. Franco Zagota is that's Chilla, their outstanding defender for New York. Zagota did not play in the first game of the playoff series in Pittsburgh with that leg injury, but he's got the thigh wrap, and he is in evidence tonight.
Yeah, actually, Bronco had a slight hamstring pull, and Alex Inote, the trainer, has been working on it now for the last 10 days or so, and everybody feels he's about 100%. I think he's got the wrap there, just sort of a precautionary kind of a thing, and let's look for Bronco to do something today because he's definitely ready.
Nothing game. MISL playoff soccer. The winner tonight advances to the finals. If New York is a winner, the final will be played Sunday evening right here in Long Island. If Pittsburgh comes out and wins, as a hard shot is deflected by Manis into the crowd.
Val Tuxa is known for taking that type of a shot. Val has got the strength in his leg to take a shot from 30 feet out and cause a problem to goalkeepers, and he took a good shot and turned into a corner kick. So it's an advantageous type of situation for the Arrows now. If
Pittsburgh upsets New York tonight, the championship game would be played Tuesday in Pittsburgh. Pass into Jungle in the box. It was knocked away by Leaper. Jungle miskicked it, and out comes Graham Fife, who just came on the field. Fife also an outstanding goal scorer for this club. Alberto picked off a careless pass. Centers toward the goal mouth area as it snaked along the glass. Tuxa, Strenisser for New York, back to Val. Tuxa, left-footed shot, goal!
Okay, early on in the game, Pete Manos still a little bit nervous. The ball went around the top post. He missed it. Strenisser had the shot, didn't take it because he doesn't have the kind of shot that Tuxa has. Tuxa got the ball, a hard, low drive, and good goal. See, Strenisser had the shot and gave it up to Tuxa. Strong left-footed shot by Val. Good shot.
And again, the kind of shot that's so difficult for a goalkeeper to hang on to because it's low. And it's much more difficult for a goalkeeper to get down to stop a shot than it is if it was up where he could deflect it with his hands or with his body. So it's a well-taken shot.
Well-taken shot, indoors and out. That's one of the most toughest shots for a goalkeeper to save. It doesn't look as spectacular as the one that rips into the back of the net, but in terms of effectiveness, a much more effective shot.
All right, Jungle knocked the ball away. Tuxa's pass intended for Julie V. Off the mark. Julie in the ball game and roll back to Manis. Kyle Rowe Jr. showed up tonight. I know he's had some terrible problems. You people around the country should know that the weather here in New York has been abominable all day long. The winds and the rain. There's a shot by Jungle off the mark. Tuxa now laying it along the right side of New York, putting on pressure. No foul called. Inside, Julie V. And the ball awarded to Pittsburgh. There's Pete Manis. A lot of pressure on him tonight. The youngster from Wilmette, Illinois. Kyle, I know the weather's been terrible. I was told you couldn't fly into New York. Had to fly to Baltimore and Newark and rent a car and come down here. But well, as soon as we get a microphone, we do. We'll welcome you aboard.
Oh, I feel like I need to take a shower. I have just tried to fight the Cross Long Island Expressway, and I'm just glad that I made it safely.
We are as well. All right, Trikovich of Pittsburgh now. 1-0 New York on top. We're in the first quarter. Jim Carvelis, Ray Klevecka, Kyle Rowe Jr. Pass to Julie V., one of the most skillful players in the league. Great ball control, great soccer player. Trying to lead it through to Jungle and was picked off the boards by Manis. What about Julie V.?
Julie V. perhaps is the most skillful player in the league on pure technical skill. Zungel in the attacking third by far is the most skillful in terms of converting balls into goals. But all over the field, I think Julie B would have to be rated as number 1.
Strenisser drew the foul. And Buttle, the thin man, there he is.
Julie
he had
B,
a hat trick in that 5-3 loss to New York, excuse me.
Just to get back to Julie a bit, he's a very tall man. He's a tall man, and he uses his body very well. He's a broad-shouldered fellow, and he uses his body very, very well, and I think that people would look at him play when he's in possession. He's a good study.
Ray and Kyle, that was some pass by Pittsburgh. They had Buttle going in, and lucky for the Arrows that he didn't have a very good angle. Messing came out and cut off whatever angle he did have. All right, DeRico in now for New York as he rolls the ball at Julie B. Now he chips it towards Jungle along the right boards. Jungle got away. Shot goal! That is vintage Jungle, Kyle.
Well, that's just what Ray Klevecka was talking about in the attacking zone. Jungle takes half chances and he puts them away cleanly. Ball did come off the boards, and it was a defender got caught going into the boards, but here's Jungle with his left foot this time. Once again, it's hit hard, but it's more of a deceptive shot than a blast shot, the way Segota would have hit that shot.
I think Steve was sort of curving it away from Pete Manos. Pete Manos came back and got caught leaning back a little bit, and Steve sort of curved it to the lower corner. And again, second goal, a hard low shot as opposed to a high shot. Goalkeepers have a problem with those shots.
Steve Jungle is consistent. Now, he's played in 4 playoff games in his MISL career, and he's had a hat trick, at least a hat trick in all 3, and he's off to a good start in Game 5.
He sure is. It's 9:53 to go, and I think Pete Manos now has to make a couple of saves. If Pete doesn't make a few saves now, I think it's going to be a little bit bleak for Pittsburgh. So let's look for Pete to come up with a save or 2 right now.
All right, O'Hara plays it back now to Charles. 2-0 New York on top, the second game of this best-of-2 playoff. You might ask, what do you mean best of 2? What happens if Pittsburgh ties it up? Well, we'll go into a 15-minute mini game. Addy Coker on for New York now. I'll tell you, Pittsburgh not getting back very well on defense. They are back now, but they've had too many. Seems to me there's a lot of room for them. New York.
They seem to have been taken aback by the 2 goals. They seem to be sort of struggling a little bit now, and I think that in a minute or so they'll settle down. The key is not to take another goal and perhaps get into the Arrows attacking third and take a shot of their own to sort of build up their confidence. But the key is not to lose possession now. Let's hold the ball a little bit and get back into this game.
Arshani, Molnar, DeRico all in there now for New York, along with Addy Coker and Chilla. And now a foul call against New York.
Pushing violation against the
The key player for Pittsburgh in the attacking third is Buttle. And now they are beginning to look for Buttle, and I think that's the right way to go, because with Buttle handling the ball in the attacking third, he creates problems. Okay, here you are. He's getting by, and that's why he's fouled, and he's a dangerous player in that attacking third.
Buttle only weighs 138 pounds, but as he said, that's okay, because when I go dribble past bigger players, I just get to laugh more.
Well, Klevecka wasn't a bad center forward in college. How much do you weigh? Seriously. How much do you weigh?
Oh, 150.
All right.
150 pounds. I think his quickness and control and a little bit of courage up there.
That's the beauty of this game, is you don't have to be a big guy. Chilla's shot is knocked away by Manis. That's the one thing that's impressed me all year long about this New York club. I mean, we know Segota and Jungle and V are great, but their defenders come flying out of nowhere, and they'll bomb one too.
Chilla tucks so they can really let it fly, and when Harsani's in it, he can hit it as well. So they've got a very potent type of offensive machine.
All right, Molnar leaves it for DeRico over the line now. DeRico now coming in on goal, crossover to Addy Coker, left to the box. Arshani in the box for Coker, almost deflected. Well, it was deflected back to the goalkeeper. Dangerous little flick back to the goalkeeper.
Dangerous, but Pete was on it. He read it, and I think he was there. So it looked a little more dangerous than it really was.
And Adrian Webster back in action.
Adrian Webster back in action now for Pittsburgh. Curtis Leeper's on. Trikovich is on. This is for Pittsburgh, and New York wins the ball again. Here comes Gene Strenisser to Hasanyi. New York on the attack. They lead 2-0. 7.5 minutes to play in the first quarter here at the Veterans Coliseum, the Nassau Veterans Coliseum in Long Island, New York. Curtis Leeper. Pittsburgh down early, 2-0. You got to think that Popovich really loves this start, because if his players were going to be a bit overconfident tonight, it's hoping they could get off very, very early and get something going.
Both coaches were talking about that early on. Both coaches wanted to score that first goal. They thought that the first goal would be a key goal, and Popovich got off with the first goal. So now it's Pittsburgh's job to get back into it.
First and the second goal for New York. Luis Alberto, skillful defender. What a nice pass to Zagota along the left boards in the zone. Leaper plays Bronco Zagota. He's got Coker. Plays it to Addy. Good play by Webster. Knocked back in by Strenisser.
Perhaps Bronco held the ball a little bit too long. Addy was there, and Bronco held it, hoping for a better position. Giving the ball up just a little bit early, I think, would have been a better result. And I think the next time, Bronco will give it up just a bit earlier.
All right, here comes Luis Alberto over the line. Leaves it for Zagota on the right wing. Zagota's shot, a good save by Manis that time, and a foul on Coker. 2-0 New York on top. You're watching MISL playoff action.
Losing 5-3. It's the only time Pittsburgh has been able to really shut down the New York attack in the last 8 games that they've played. But as you said, they were only able to score 3 goals themselves, and the New York defense is tremendous.
And one of those came when it was really all over. It was a 5-2 game, and they not pull their goalkeeper, but put a shirt on Clive Charles. New York, again, so many people pay attention to the great goal scoring of Jungle, who now has 94 regular season and playoffs, and Zagota and V and all that. But in Shep Messing, they have an outstanding goalkeeper, and then guys like Tuxa and Arshanyi and Alberto, Sutevsky, they've got some pretty good defense.
I was just going to mention Sutevsky. To me, Sutevsky plays a very quiet but a very important role, and sometimes maybe the fans overlook his contribution, but from a coaching point of view, really, you cannot overlook Sutevsky's contribution. He does a great job for Popovich.
And Philadelphia will never forget the 6 goals he scored against them.
That's right.
And on a given day, he can also put it in the net. Exactly.
Again, another defender for New York that looks like as good an attacker as anybody has in the league from time to time. All right, here's McNichol of Pittsburgh now in the middle of the field. If you're just tuning in, it's 4:55 to play first quarter. Nassau Veterans Coliseum MISL Championship playoff. 2-0 New York on top of Pittsburgh. New York won the first game last Sunday in Pittsburgh 5-3. If they win this game here tonight, they're going to qualify to play right here Sunday evening against the winner of Houston and Wichita. And what a playoff game they had the other night. Of course, Wichita doesn't know how to play anything but a playoff game these days, but they lost in overtime to Houston. And Kyle, I know you live down in Houston. What was the reaction to that win?
Well, it was a great win in overtime, and in fact, last night Houston's victory over Wichita now puts Houston into the final come Sunday night. But they've played 6 games this year. Each game has been a 1-goal game. 4 of those games have gone in overtime, so certainly they have the most competitive rivalry in the Major Indoor Soccer League.
So Houston waiting for the winner of tonight's game to play Sunday evening right here.
All right, Pittsburgh is beginning to do some of the things that they had hoped to do early in the game. They're maintaining a little more possession in the attacking third. Oh, an error. All right, they got away a little bit lucky, but prior to that error, they were maintaining possession in the middle third, quieting the Arrows' potent attack down a little bit by keeping possession. If the Arrows don't have the ball, they can't score the goal. And Pittsburgh kept the ball a little bit, then use Buttle a little bit, and I think that's the right way for them to go.
Julie V showed you some of that skill there, but I think he should have wound up and hit the shot or passed it a little sooner.
Probably pass a little sooner.
Hard shot off the boards. That was really an attempted pass. The ball coming free, rolls across the line, as you saw, taken right off the line, and Pittsburgh very fortunate there.
Again, Pete's still a little bit hesitant and nervous. He didn't know if he should kick it or pick it up. He realized he was outside the line and he couldn't pick it up. So a costly mistake that did not result in a goal.
Mickey Cave in there now for Pittsburgh. Mickey didn't play in that game in Pittsburgh last Sunday, but he's on here tonight. Mickey's a good goal scorer.
I think it's at this time of the game, I think that Pittsburgh needs some goal scorers or some people who potentially could take a shot at the goal, because a goal would then turn a game back into a more balanced kind of an affair.
Red line violation.
So referee Gino DiPolito.
does a fine job. Gino, a professional referee, and it's good that he's doing this game. It's a very important game, and he's a fine referee.
With one hand in the air, that indicates it's an indirect free kick, meaning the ball must touch another player before it can go into the goal.
All right, McLaughlin breaks it up for New York. Now Luis Alberto of the Arrows. Arrows coming on the attack. Off the boards, Julie V. Back to the lanky McLaughlin. You know, he played well last Sunday. Ray,
yeah,
McLaughlin on defense.
Well, Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh team doesn't really have a star defender or anybody that they really rely on to play some good defense. They basically rely on a team concept on defense, starting up at the forward line. The forwards get back and play defense, and all the defenders, of course, then their job is a little bit easier.
Shot by Graham Fife.
Graham Fife, and you saw Messing just smother the ball against the boards.
Okay, as you can see, the forwards are now checking, and they're giving the defense a chance to set up.
All right, Julie V. misread the bounce off the boards, and here's Manis, who's been under the gun. Adrian Webster, a big key for this club. DeRico, Fife going for the ball, but Alberto will get to it first. Time remaining in the first quarter, 2:18. 2-0 New York on top of Pittsburgh. MISL playoffs. And New York looking for the right to meet Houston for the championship.
Again, Curtis Lipa now put a little bit of pressure up front and caused the offside pass. And this is what Pittsburgh has to do. They have to put a little bit of pressure in the attacking third, cause the Arrow defenders to rush their passes and perhaps make errors, cause interceptions, and get back into this game. That was well done by Curtis Lipa.
and Alan Trost now in action.
All right, Fife along the boards loses that battle to DeRico. Dave DeRico, tough youngster from New Jersey. And here comes Sutevsky on the right now. Trost in the game. Al Trost, he wears the number 12. This is DeRico. Jungle lays it off to Chilla, coming up on the attack, overlapping. Renato Chilla against the boards, getting away from Trikovic. Play to Sutevsky, and he is dumped and fouled by Webster. Adrian Webster, that's the most obvious foul of the night. I could have called that. I did.
No question about that one, but he was beat. Again, Sutevsky shows a little bit of speed. He took that one step and he was gone, and the foul had to be taken because they were afraid of a shot on goal.
Webster's nickname is the Shadow, and obviously the Shadow got a little bit away from the person that time, and in coming back, came back a little bit too rough.
Looked like the Hammer that time. There's a free kick. Manis handles it in the air.
Those kind of balls in the indoor game are not dangerous. It's an outdoor game. That's an outdoor ball. In the indoors, it's a goalkeeper's ball, and it's really...
That's a good point, Ray, because we haven't seen much of that this year where a guy flicks it up in the air like that.
Right, because it doesn't pay. The goalkeeper's the master in that area, and it's just a lost ball for an alert goalkeeper.
All right, Mickey Cave. All right, Al Trost breaks it up, stays in the ball, and now it's broken up by the good defender Clive Charles, who gets it back again. Pittsburgh looks a bit disorganized to me. I don't think they're really, I'm sure they have a good game plan because Billis has done a great job with them, but I think the players are a bit hesitant here. They just don't look like they know where they're going, Ray.
I think they're still suffering from those two goals. I think they haven't really recovered from that first goal especially, and I think they're not getting into their rhythm. If they don't take a goal for the remainder of the quarter, I think then Lenny will reorganize them, and let's see what happens at the beginning of the second quarter. But they've got to last out now this quarter with a 2-0 score.
All right, 42 seconds to play in the first quarter. New York on top, 2-0, the defending champions. Jungle with the ball against O'Hara. Jungle still stays on it, 30 seconds. Sutevsky, not a very good return pass to Jungle. DeRico gets there ahead of Cave, plays it back to Chilla. Chilla to Sutevsky, to Al Trost. Trost to Jungle, beautiful pass to Chilla. Wheels off the boards, plays it in front, easy for Manis. Mickey Cave. Slow build-up for Pittsburgh.
I think they're waiting for the clock. I think they want to maintain possession for the quarter, and they're waiting for the clock.
Well, they ran out the clock.
That's it. I think that's what they wanted to do.
Well, that's the end of the first quarter with a score. The New York Arrows 2 and the Pittsburgh Spirit 0. We'll be back with the start of the second quarter in just a moment. Our women's tennis championships will continue at 12 p.m. tomorrow on most of these same cable systems. Tracy Austin, Billie Jean King, and Martina Navratilova are just 3 of the 8 great women's stars competing in this event. So tune in early and see who will be crowned the world's #1 women's tennis player. That's noon tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, on most of these same cable systems. Shep Messing, who always seems to have a love affair with the crowd, looking very, very concerned. Jim Carvelis, Ray Klavecka, and Kyle Rowe Jr. Hope you're enjoying championship missile action. Ray?
Yes, I was talking to Shep before the game, and he said that I said to him, how do you feel? You're a veteran. How do you feel? He says, you know, Ray, I like to get away. And he says, I like to get away and just get away from the wife and the family and just to get away before the game. He says, that's how I get ready. I want to just get away, relax. He says, I go into the city, I take a drive, I go get a meal at a restaurant. I just get away and I organize myself. Because I don't do anything special to psych myself up. I just want to relax. I want to get away, and then I'm ready.
Well, if his wife buys it, who am I to argue? I mean,
as we take a look at Len Billis, or we just saw Lenny Billis, the coach of Pittsburgh, and some of the fans here tonight. Interesting coaching strategy by Houston coach Ken Cooper. Flew his troops in here today so that they'd have a chance to watch this game in person and scout the team with their own eyes instead of on tape.
How did they get in here?
I should say they were scheduled to get here around 3.
Yeah.
They may still be up in the air.
We had 60-mile-an-hour winds at the airports here in the New York area. Very dangerous. The commissioner couldn't get in here, or Earl Foreman. A lot of people. Kyle just showed up, and it's been very dangerous. Okay. And it's really held the crowd down, too. I mean, they were expecting over 10,000 here tonight. They still have a darn good crowd considering the weather conditions, but it really took a couple thousand people away.
I think they had an advance of about 8.5, so I think it was a realistic 11, maybe 10.5, 11 crowd, but the weather is just impossible.
All right, we've changed ends of the field. O'Hara rolls it down to Manis, who fires it out toward Trikovic. Trick controlling the ball now, played by Zagota. Rocco, who was the 3rd leading scorer in the MISL. Number 2 was Fred Gergerev. And number 1, of course, was Steve Jungle, who scored 90 during the regular season. He scored 4 during the playoffs already. And he's got a very good chance to score 100 goals total this season, and that's incredible. I mean, that's almost obscene.
I think, I don't know. It's not obscene. I think it's really a tribute to his talent, Jimmy, really.
No doubt about that.
I mean, in the indoor game, you pick up some lucky goals, of course, and everybody scores his share. But you watch him game in and game out. He can do it.
Here's Fife. Bad control that time by Fife. Actually, on one of his dribbles, he played the ball too far out in front of him, and he kind of lost control. Then all he could do is try to center it.
But Shep came out and put a little bit of pressure on him, so we've got to give Shep a little bit of credit. He put the pressure on Fife, and maybe that caused him to miscue a little bit.
Well, Ray, Kyle and I were saying, late in the season that, and we've also heard it from coaches, that the goalkeeping is something that, all right, let's watch the shot by O'Hara off the mark. Trikovic couldn't chest it down quickly enough, so he has no shot. Tries to bank it. It's broken up nicely by Strenicer. Sets Zagota running. Franco against Leeper on the left side, and Leeper made the play. Zagota doesn't look like he's moving that gingerly to me.
No, Zagota's moving on, but Curtis is out there.
There's Zungel with a back heel bank off the boards. It's picked off by Pittsburgh, and some good defensive work being done there by Trikovic. He's fouled by Tuxa. But Kyle and I were saying, we're starting to realize, such a new game, just how important the goalkeepers are in this game.
They're very important, and early in the season, it's always hard for outdoor goalkeepers to adjust off the shots off the glass and off the wall. And as the season progressed, they began to adjust to those shots, and they reacted very well.
All right, we're taking a shot now from our end zone
now we're
camera.
talking about the goalkeeper. That's the view that he basically sees.
That's right.
And they've adjusted very well now, and most of the goalkeepers, especially in playoff competition, have done a superb job.
All right, here's another good reason we like to show you that from time to time is it kind of gives you the perspective, as Ray said, of the goalkeeper, but also it's like watching a football game from the end zone. Great shot at a goal by Mickey Cave. Oh, Mickey Cave, that's as good a goal as you'll ever see, boy. That was the only spot he could really beat Messing at that far corner, and he hit a bullseye.
He hit it very well, and he hit it on the run, and what happened was that Shep, I think, was caught a little too deep in the goal. Perhaps he should have been out a little bit. Let's watch it again. See, Shep seemed to be a little bit off balance, Kyle. I watched Shep on the replay, seemed not to be ready, a little bit off balance. But Mickey did really rip it.
Now, can I tell you something? I know, Ray, you're going to remember this. When Shep won a NASL championship in New York, and they beat Seattle 2-1, a club that Cave played for, by the way, the goal scored by Tommy Ord in that game was the same kind of a goal where Shep was off balance to his left and the ball went the other way.
Exactly. But let's give Mickey a lot of credit because he hit it very hard.
Yes.
And he hit it to the flop post, which is a good shot. Hit it with the outside of his foot, and it was curving. So it's all the credit goes to Mickey. No doubt about
we're
it.
not blaming Shep because, as we said, that's as good a goal as you'll see because Cave had a very small target area to hit, and he hit it. And that should really give Pittsburgh, Kyle, a little more momentum here. Give him a little verve and energy.
Sure will, but interesting enough, Mickey Cave was on that Seattle team.
He was.
in the playoffs.
Right. That's right.
One thing about the goalkeepers that New York has not had the problem with is that teams are having to use so many goalkeepers that communication, as Buttle's on the ball, is so critical to work your second goalkeeper into it.
Buttle took a couple of shots. Hit the second one on the volley, as you saw. It was blocked down, and Pittsburgh is a little excited. Here comes Julie V now. He's got Jungle on the left side. He's got Zutevsky trailing. Banks it in front. Jungle saved by Manis. Good reaction by Manis that time in front. I don't know, maybe that goal kind of perked up New York. It looks like they're going a little harder now.
I think they're mad.
All right, Zutevsky in the box, knocked away, rolling out. Manis made a great save. Manis stuck out a hand. I can't believe he got that. It looked like he was on the ground helpless.
But I think he reacted. He's a good athlete. When you stand up close to Pete Manis, you see he's a good athlete. He's got a fine athletic body, and he reacted very well. And this is where a goalkeeper has to be a good athlete.
All right, they had a 3-on-2 that time, and McNichol was injured on the play. McNichol, actually, had McNichol gotten rid of the ball a little earlier, they might have had something there. They had a 3-on-2 break, and he stayed on the ball too much, and he paid the price for it too, Kyle.
Well, Strenisher there knew that they were in a 3-on-2 break against them and played the pass lane, forcing that ball to be blocked away.
All right, here's Leeper, head of the box, playing it in the box, intending it for Trikovic, and it's broken up. I really like Chilla, by the way. Ray and Kyle. I mean, talk about a guy that doesn't get a lot of credit. He's steady. Another save by Manis in the goal mouth.
Okay, you see now Manis is getting into the game. He's made those 2-3 saves that he needed to get himself into the game. Now he's in the game. The score's only 2-1, so I think that it's now pretty even now. I think we can see Pittsburgh get back into it.
All right, here comes Jungle, and he hit the glass. Steve Jungle. You know, another reason you have to be impressed with 94 goals is you know that every time Jungle steps on the floor, everyone's looking for him.
There's a man on him. There's a man on him from the moment he steps on.
Sometimes 2, sometimes 3.
That's right.
And he has still done it. Trikovic, now they're going to call obstruction against the defender, Chilla.
Chilla shaking hands, hoping that he can keep the referee from calling more than just that. But Jungle is one of only 3 players for New York that's played in every game this year. So he's not only skillful, but he's very resistant to injury, which you like to see in your forwards. There we saw the obstruction call.
Okay, the forward was getting past the defender. The defender was caught a little bit flat-footed. The forward was by him, and I think Chilla had to foul him to preserve a breakaway.
That's the difference. There's a lot of similarities between this game and basketball game. That would have been a charging call in basketball. Trikovic, a bad pass here. Leeper looking for a loose ball as Strenisher went down. Here comes Fight. Loose ball. Arshani trying to clear it. Now here's Clyde Charles of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh down 2-1 now as they've broken the ice here in the second period. Ball off the boards. Chilla running. Charles took it away. It's 3-on-3 for Pittsburgh. Charles against Harsani. Outside, Leeper. Shot goal!
Oh, a great goal. A great goal.
Great deflection goal by Graham Fife, and we have a 2-2 game now. Look out.
Curtis Leeper's not known for scoring, and he's not known for taking shots at the goal. He's out there to hustle and fight and win loose balls and create that type of damage.
Well, watch,
there's the blast.
Fife
with the inside of his heel. Let the ball go between his legs and hit it with the inside of his right heel. Past the diving Shep Messing, who was at the near post.
That's a kind of a play that you see in South America. That's a Brazilian play, an Argentinian type of play, and it's a great goal. And the game is now 2-2, and anything can happen from now on in.
All right, we have a tie game. 9:05 to play. They did that in 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Alberto's pass is knocked away. Pittsburgh has the ball. Adrian Webster rolls it back to Manis. And you got to give this guy some credit because Manis kept the game at 2-0. It could have been 4-0
right.
or 5-0. It would have been all over. He kept them in.
He got into it and made some very, very key saves.
Alberto attacking. Really skillful player. Luis, as I say that, makes a very average pass to Harsan. How do you say that? I said Harshani, Harsani. How do you say it, Ray?
Harshani. I think
Harshani.
he says Harshani.
Kyle, how do you say it?
Arshani as well.
Okay.
I'd say he can play, though, so it's okay.
That's 2 out of 3. So.
And a foul called against Alberto, fouling Buttle, the thin man.
I think Buttle picks up a lot of fouls. I think he draws them well. He shields the ball.
Yeah.
And he handles the ball a great deal. He draws a lot of fouls.
Very
He takes a
skillful player.
beating. He's a skillful player, and he's very courageous. Look where he's going. Right on top of the box with Val Tuxa.
Louis Alberto. 2 minutes.
All right, 2 minutes for Alberto for tripping. So now we have our first man advantage. Let's look at the penalty now.
Alberto, 2 minutes. Tripping.
Well, he was trying to get the ball. It wasn't as if he went in hard to hurt him, but he did trip him.
Yeah, he tripped him. I don't know if it was a 2 minute, but Gino's on it.
I'm not
He
so
made
sure
the
it
call.
was either. Because it wasn't really a vicious tackle where he might have broken his leg. He was really trying to get the ball. All right, here's Charles now. Pittsburgh with a great opportunity now. They've tied the game after being down 2-0. It's 2-2. They have a man advantage for another minute 36. Off the boards. And a good play made in there by Tuxa away from Buttle, who could have had a shot there.
Buttle is there. You see, this is it. He's the key. He's always in the box. And now he's moving, and now they're looking for him. See him in the box? There he goes.
McKenzie's shot knocked down. I believe that was knocked down by Tuxa more than Messing. And roll back to Manis. You see, when a team has a man advantage, Kyle, the goalkeeper plays an important part on the team that has the man advantage because he's got to come out, and when the ball comes into the zone, he's got to save time by moving the ball back quickly on offense. Charles' shot is high off the glass. Collected by Graham Fife, who scored the second goal, a great deflection. Plays it out to McKenzie. Pittsburgh looking for a way in to Charles at the left point. Off the boards in front, knocked away nicely by Streniser. Arshani to Tuxa to Streniser. New York, a nice job of holding the ball now. Get it back to Harshani. Harshani will roll it to Streniser and out of Messing. They really ate up a lot of the clock, and we have only 32 seconds to go on the penalty.
Very well done by New York. A lot of poise and good technical ability, and Harshani just stumbled and lost the ball, but Tuxa's got it again.
All right, McKenzie banks it off the boards to Mickey Cave. Here comes Mickey playing it to Buttle. Buttle's knocked down off the ball by Streniser. Now McKenzie. 10 seconds. 10 seconds of the penalty, Ray and Kyle. Here's Clive Charles. Play it to Mickey Cave. Cave with a left foot. Deflected by Tuxa. Nice play. Here comes Val Tuxa. He's got V on the right side. Running 2-on-2. Lead it for V. Not a good pass. Back to Manis. And the penalty is over. Equal strength.
Arrows did a very nice job in running out the clock by maintaining possession in their defensive third. Showed a lot of poise and let the clock run. I think a great deal of credit has to go to the penalty-killing team of the Arrows in that last sequence.
Kyle Sutevsky's in the game now for Harshani. And a whistle and a foul is going to be called on Val Tuxa. He knocked Buttle down.
Stepping against New York.
All right, we'll be back with more MISL action in just a moment. For Dorico, another shot into the crowd. You might say, why did Shep go up? He knew the ball was going high. I think Shep wanted to prevent the rebound. He was going up trying to smother it on the glass so it wouldn't come out where Trinkovic would have a shot.
I think the goalkeepers, as we were talking earlier, have learned now that that rebound above the glass coming out again is a very dangerous shot. So they're willing to even give up a corner kick because at least they can set up against the corner kick, and the shot off the glass becomes a very, very tough shot for them to save in case of a rebound coming in.
Good shot of Peter Manis there, who was very shaky early on, gave up 2 early goals. But he has really, really done the job. He's made some outstanding saves, kept his club in. And his club, the Pittsburgh Spirit, got 2 goals of their own, and it's a brand new game at 2-2. McLaughlin knocked it into the crowd. The referee says no penalty. Pittsburgh appealing. But it was in the middle of the field, and there was really no reason to think he was trying to delay the game by knocking it into the crowd.
No, he was in a disadvantageous position. He was falling, and he just tried to get the ball upfield. And I think the referee made the correct decision on that one.
Butler in now for Pittsburgh. The lead pass to Butler got around McLaughlin momentarily. Messing came out to make the play. Shep now rolls it to Luis Alberto. Houston against the winner tonight will play either Sunday if New York wins here in New York, or Tuesday if Pittsburgh upsets New York in Pittsburgh. All right, now it's anyone's game. Peter Manis will be the halftime guest of Ray Clavecca. We taped that before the game, and then John Luciani, the owner of this New York Arrows club, will also be up here live. So you want to stay tuned for that. Sutevsky, nice play and good distribution to Alberto. Go to Sutevsky, off the glass and off the arm of Manis, and right back to Manis from Leeper. And now it's Trikovic the other way for Pittsburgh. The action picking up. Trikovic now over the midfield line into the New York zone. Stoyan Trikovic away from Sutevsky, still battling for the ball. Good job by Stoyan. And now here's Curtis Leeper with 4:10 to play in the half. Webster rolls it to Trikovic. Pretty good game.
Yes, it has picked up now. Now that Pittsburgh's back in it, I think it's a very good game, and you could hear the buzzing in the crowd. I think the crowd is really appreciating it because early on the Arrows dominated.
Yes.
Pittsburgh is in it now, and I think it's becoming a very good game.
All right, Pittsburgh pulling it off. There was Napolitano who had just come out of the field to steal the ball. The fans thought there should have been a foul call. Alberto stole the ball from Adrian Webster. Luis Alberto now. Pittsburgh getting back on defensive, and Luis is dumped and fouled by Mickey Cave.
Mickey Cave was drawn into that foul. Luis saw him coming, slowed down, shielded the ball, and Mickey just ran over him. And that was a very wise play by Alberto. It's a play of a veteran.
You might have been able to hear the crowd that was asking for 2 minutes because they felt it was the same kind of penalty. There was a free kick by Jungle. Felt it was the same kind of penalty that Alberto got put in the box for.
A similar one, and of course it's a New York crowd, and they want that 2 minute. They want that equalizer of the 2 minute penalty.
What a great year it's been for this major indoor soccer league. A tremendous season. That's seen, I think, great competition. New York kind of ran away from everyone, but apart from New York, the series between Houston and Wichita was such a great one. The Detroit club hung in there. That Buffalo club, after having a horrendous middle of the season, came on to win 6 straight games and qualify for the playoffs. So they did a great job there, and crowd-wise as well. And the St. Louis club that wasn't an artistic success on the field led the league in attendance, which just goes to prove how good this product really is.
I think it's interesting to note that right up until the last 2 games of the season, everybody except for Hartford, I think, still had a shot at a mathematical shot at being in the playoffs. So
incredible.
It was an artistic success in terms of the crowd, but it was a very competitive season on the field as well. And I think a lot of credit has to go to the coaching staffs and the players.
Yes.
They really did a nice job.
Yes. And now somebody kicked down there.
Buttle got
That's Buttle.
either kicked or it looks like he's holding his hamstring.
Steve Buttle.
6 playoff goals, 2 consecutive hat tricks. First
Let's
against
see
Buffalo.
what's
Here we
happening.
see it again.
He's not even in the play right here. It's going to happen here. Now watch him. He's going to come in on the boards. Ball's going to go. Oh, that's where he got kicked. That was an inadvertent kick, by the way, by Julie V.
Julie V caught him with his knee into his thigh. That's a very painful injury. Julie V's knee caught him above Buttle's knee into the fleshy part of the thigh. And I think he might be out for a little while because it's a painful injury. Let's just hope that they ice it and he can get back in. Steve Buttle is critical to the Pittsburgh team.
No doubt. This program is authorized under rights granted by the Major Indoor Soccer League solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without including the imposition of charge for viewing the program without the express consent of the Major Indoor Soccer League is prohibited. Clive Charles talking to the referee, saying, well, we should have had at least a 2 minute penalty. I mean, you know, the guy got kicked pretty bad.
But the kick was, I think, inadvertent. you know, it looked inadvertent. Maybe Julie did it a little bit, you know, but I think from where we sit, it looked like it was an inadvertent kick.
I think it was. I don't think V was going for him at all. And that's part of it. That's part of the intent. I think it has to do a little bit with the foul.
I think we must also recognize that the surface area is a much smaller one in the outdoor game. There are many more tackles in this game. There's much less room to avoid tackles.
Yeah.
And these things will occur. It's a natural part of the game.
Molnar to V and a save by Manis, who's really come up big here in the second period. And with 2:41 to play in the half, it's still 2-2 and a handball against New York.
Dino saw it very clearly, and Julie V looked at him and said, you know, hey, you know, but he was on it, and good call by the referee.
Cave toward Butler, and Messing made the play. To Gene Strenisser, a veteran player, Canadian citizen. Jungle to Molnar, back to Strenisser. Chilla breaking up the right side. Good ball by Strenisser. Chilla really never could bring it enough under control to bank it off the glass, hit it into the crowd. 2-2-2 to play in the first half. 2-2 is the score. 22 Manis in the goal.
You must have sounded like you're a numerologist or something.
Did you say deuces a while? Did you say deuces a while, Jimmy?
Steve Jungle, who has scored a goal here tonight. 19 hat tricks. That's incredible. All right, Adrian Webster with a free kick. 2-2 the score. Headed by Molnar, headed back out by McKenzie, and now off the glass, and Manis had to come out very quickly because there was Jungle looking for that opportunity. Now Pittsburgh's going to call a timeout. Len Billis wants to talk it over as Manis is going to come over and have a word with him.
I think it's a good timeout, and from a tactical point of view, because with 2 minutes and 11 seconds to go, the score is 2-2. Lenny Billis doesn't want his team to take a silly goal now and turn the game around. They've been playing very well. They've gotten back into the game, scored 2 very excellent goals, and I think Lenny wants to tell them, hey, let's not risk anything. If we can finish the half in a 2-2 tie, no problem. We're all right. Let's not risk too much, and let's not take a bad goal. And I think it's a wise timeout, and it's a good timeout for them to reorganize. On the other side, Pop, he's saying, hey, let's get up there and see if we can get one in. And Pop is talking to Zungel, which is his main man, and it makes sense. Pop is talking to the main man that can turn it around for them again.
And as the referee's discussing, and those of you watching indoor soccer for the first time, Kyle, let's let the people know that we have an official on the field and someone over the boards that also helps him officiate.
Well, the reason for that obviously is because an official can only see 50% of the field at one time. And interestingly, as opposed to the outdoor game, the alternate official that we see in the box has a whistle in indoor soccer that he can stop play, which an outdoor linesman cannot do. So it takes a lot of coordination, and you can be sure that the officiating staff in indoor soccer spend several hours before the game going over how they want to coordinate their calls.
That's the voice of Kyle Rowe Jr. as he battled across the country today to get to the game. Cars, automobiles was in every airport in the country, but he made it. And Ray Kuloveka, an outstanding U.S. coach who was an All-American soccer player as well as an outstanding professional coach with the Cosmos, now with Rochester, and a gentleman who studied and likes this indoor game. And I'm very thankful I have such experts with me in the booth. All right, it's 1:48 to play in the first half. It's 2-2. That ball bounced off the handheld camera, I think, down there, and they kept it in play. Don't hurt our camera guys. Tough enough to do one of these games. All right, here's Julie V with a steal, and it's smothered by Manis. Shot, knocked down, a shot, and a goal! Julie V. Manis just couldn't do it all himself.
Manis made the initial save, but credit has to be given to Julie V. Brought the ball in, penetrated very deeply. Manis made the initial save. He got the ball out, and Julie V is really responsible for this one, and a lot of credit has to be given to him.
But interestingly enough, this is just the reason why Pittsburgh called the timeout, to avoid this situation. Late here in the first half, here comes Strenisher. The ball deflected once again right back to Strenisher, this time with the left foot. Manis on the ground, unable to make the save.
You see what Jungle did that time? When one of those shots was taken, he went right